Hi, I'm Lily Genovese. I'm the coordinator for Trout in the Classroom for New York City and the New York City watersheds. I'm here at the Trailside Museum at Ward Pound Ridge Reservation. I'm joined by my daughter, Julie. She is here to help me. It's a very exciting day. Today is Trout Tuesday, and we get to feed the trout. So we came in this morning to check on the fish. They are looking really great. And one of the baskets managed to pop off, and all of the fish escaped from the nest basket. So if you look in the tank, it's not intentional, but about 150 of these little fry escaped from their nest basket and are swimming around the tank. They look pretty happy. There was one mortality in there, so there was one dead trout that we had to remove. The tank temperature is 51.2 degrees Fahrenheit. All the equipment is working really well, and I think we want to try feeding the trout. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the trout food. And Julie, do you think that the trout are ready to eat today?
Yes.
Why do you think that they're ready to eat?
Because I think I saw one try to bite the dead one in the tank.
Yeah, we saw one of the trout trying to eat a dead trout that was at the bottom of the tank. We don't know why the trout died, but I think they're ready to eat. The other clues that we can look for that tell us that these fry are ready to eat is the fact that they are swimming around at the top. Even in the nest basket, you can see them swimming around. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about the trout food that we have that we're going to be feeding them. And then I'm going to go to that trout camera so that you guys can see what happens when we sprinkle some of this trout food in there. And I really have no idea what's going to happen once we start feeding them. So here's our trout food. It comes in a big bag like this. We actually buy this stuff from Bio, Oregon. It is made up largely of fish meal. So basically the food that we eat, like the fish that we eat, the parts that we don't consume ourselves gets turned into fish food. So it's almost like recycled fish parts. But this stuff is really healthy for the trout. And we have 3 different sizes of trout food available. We've got this one, which is the size 0. We call it meal. It's very, very small. It's almost like, it's almost smaller than sand, I would say. Then we've got the size 1. And here we start to call them crumbles. This actually is about the size of sand. And we've got the size 2, which is really for those big fingerlings. And this would be the size of almost little pieces of gravel. So of course we start with the size 0, and we're going to give them a very small amount. Oops. We're going to give them a very small amount of this food and see what happens. So I'm going to go straight to the trout cam, and I'm going to ask Julie to help me with feeding them. So here you can see the fish. You can see how well they're actually swimming around. They're all at the surface. We can see there looks like there's maybe 1 or 2 at the bottom of that nest basket. And again, this is that second nest basket, the one where the fish didn't escape from the nest basket. So we'll start by trying to feed them. And generally it just takes one of them to really go for the food. And then the others will follow, but we're not sure what will happen. So here you go, Julie. Take a little tiny pinch of the food and sprinkle it all over that nest basket. And let's see what happens. What's happening in there? Does it look like they're going for it? It looks like some of them are a little bit scared of the food. Yeah, I don't see a single one eating the fish food.
There's one going for it.
There is?
Yeah, it's just like that.
Great.
Or try to.
Oh, they're trying. It's really interesting what they do. It looks like they're curious about the food, but they're not 100% sure what to do. Now, this food smells really bad to us. It's pretty stinky. But to trout, it must smell pretty interesting. And believe me, once we start feeding them, once they get used to the idea of eating this trout meal, they'll be really going for it. Oh, I see one swimming up almost to try to get it. Very cool. So, of course, trout in a natural stream wouldn't be eating fish meal, right? This is not the food. They do eat one another, but their favorite type of food is actually stream macroinvertebrates. So I want you guys to think about what are some macroinvertebrates that might be living in the Cross River and in the watershed streams in and around New York City. And next week, actually on Thursday, on Think Tank Thursday, I'll take a little trip to the Cross River and see if I can find some live bugs to show you. Here we've got some preserved macroinvertebrates. So these are the larval stage, the ones that you can find in the water. But try to think about some macroinvertebrates that you know of that live in rivers and streams and ponds and lakes. And thanks for joining me today. I'll leave you guys with another quick peek at the trout, and I will see you hopefully on Think Tank Thursday. Thanks for joining us. Bye.